Could this be a situation where Nick Saban is really going after Henry To'oTo'o? I feel like this looks like a situation where Saban sees there is somebody in this graduate transfer, in this NCAA transfer portal that could really be beneficial to Alabama. When you talk To'oTo'o, I know a lot of you as fans, there's kind of a push and pull when you bring his name up because some of you feel like let's give somebody that's already on the roster an opportunity to be dynamic, whether it's a Jalen Moody or a Shane Lee or a DeMoy Kennedy or a Jackson Bratton or even one of these incoming freshmen in a Deontay Lawson or a Ian Jackson, somebody that's already here and enrolled on the roster, being loyal to those guys. And while I understand that, and there's nothing wrong with that, when you have a guy that has the experience that To'oTo'o has, a 2-year starter at Tennessee, played in 23 career games. We're looking at 148 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, just huge, massive production. And also keep in mind, Alabama wanted this young man in the 2019 recruiting cycle. There have been a couple of recruits that Nick Saban has had his eye on that at first he did not get. He wanted Nolan Smith. Doesn't get Nolan Smith, he goes to Georgia. Saban wanted Nakobe Dean at linebacker, pushed for him hard. Didn't get him. He goes to Georgia. Saban wanted Justin Ross, the big-time wide receiver at 6'4", pushed for him hard. Bama doesn't get him. He goes to Clemson. And then Alabama also wanted Henry To'oTo'o in the 2019 recruiting cycle, pushed for him hard. Doesn't get him. He ends up at Tennessee. But this is one of those moments where you could get somebody back that you always wanted. It's almost like, for my fellas out there, the girl that got away, you always wanted this woman. She was fine. She was bad. She was hot. And you always wanted her. But she was the one that kind of got away. Now you have a chance to get her back. Or for my ladies out there, this was the brother that got away. You got a chance to possibly win him back. So in the event, here's Coach Saban in terms of Alabama football. He went after, he wanted To'oTo'o on the 2019 recruiting cycle. Doesn't get him. He goes to Tennessee to hook up with Jeremy Pruitt. But now here's an opportunity for Alabama Crimson Tide and Coach Saban to pull the young man out of the portal. Now, Kaho has put his name in, and this is somebody of whom, coming from the state of Nevada here, he was going to go to Washington in the 2018 recruiting cycle, but chose to not pursue that, to come to Alabama late in the cycle. And he actually gave the Crimson Tide a top 5 signing class, ranking up, going in at the number 5 spot. And we know him as a dynamic special teams player. Kaho, he breaks the shield, he blocks punts, he covers kicks, just a really all-around dynamic special teams player. And for quite a while now, we've been wanting to see that parlay into him being dominant on defense at the linebacker position. It's just unfortunate that he has never really, panned out to be that inside backer that you can put out there on the field. He can tear the sideline up. He can shoot the gaps. He can stuff the run. He can affect the passing game as far as sacking quarterbacks, batting passes down, flushing the quarterback out of the pocket. He's never really sort of materialized into being that type of guy. I mean, we even go back to last year when there were moments where Dylan Moses struggling here and there, and Nick Saban, Coach Saban never pulled Moses out of the game to replace him with Kaho, or even in the situation against Arkansas where Christian Harris got hurt, and he could have put Kaho in that situation, but Saban chose to go with Jalen Moody. And Moody went out there, the young man from South Carolina, and he cracked some heads. He went out there, made some hits, made some big tackles, forced a fumble, was a big-time impact player against the Razorbacks. So Kaho's had some situations where he could have really shown the coaching staff what he could do, what he's all about, and displaying, I can do more than just special teams, but regardless of that, has put his name in the portal. So we're looking at trying to see where does Kaho go to from here. But I look at this right here. If Alabama could have an inside linebacker tandem on the field with with To'oTo'o and Christian Harris, I don't think people are really understanding how marquee this would be here. For Alabama to have Christian Harris and Henry To'oTo'o on the field together, people thought that Mack Wilson and Ben Davis would be the reincarnation of Courtney Upshaw and Donta Hightower. People thought that Mack Wilson and Ben Davis would be that reincarnation, but you look at Christian Harris and Henry To'oTo'o, this could be the reincarnation. Like, this could literally be what Ben Davis and Mack Wilson could have been. This could actually be the real deal right here with Christian Harris and To'oTo'o, and here's why. Harris already has the capability to blitz off the side and attack the quarterback and shoot through the gaps, stuff the running back in the backfield, create those negative plays, as well as we saw Christian Harris in the CFP, the college football playoff, sink back into coverage and create that interception off Ian Book of Notre Dame. So we've already seen Harris's ability to hit the sidelines, to have the lateral quickness, to break on the ball in pass coverage, and also be able to blitz there at that linebacker position. But you pair a To'oTo'o with him, somebody who's got insanely high football IQ, once again, big experience in the SEC coming over from Tennessee. He's played 23 career games, 2 full years of experience there. And you would also get a guy that's a huge locker room guy, great team guy, great personality, character to put within that locker room. And with already knowing what you have in Christopher Allen as your strong side linebacker, he comes back from having 13 tackles for loss, 6 sacks a season ago, and then Will, the Terminator Anderson of whom last season, this brother right here, all he did was have 52 tackles, 10 and a half of those for loss, 7 sacks, 8 quarterback hurries, just an absolute menace there on the field. You bring in a To'oTo'o with Christian Harris, Will Anderson, Christopher Allen, you're basically telling your defense, hey, we're winning football games with defense in the upcoming season. You bringing in a Henry To'oTo'o, you're literally telling Pete Golding, Pete, we got all the talent here for you right now. You got to put it into play. You got to put it in the action as the defensive coordinator, but we got all the talent here for you right here on this defense, especially if you can grab a To'oTo'o out of the portal. And I've mentioned this before. When you look at all the pieces that you have to replace offensively, you're replacing a number 1 quarterback in Mac Jones. You're replacing a number 1 running back in Najee Harris. You're replacing 2 number 1 receivers in Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. You're replacing 3 starting offensive linemen.'re replacing an offensive coordinator in Steve Sarkisian and 4 other offensive coaches. Now, I'm not saying that Bill O'Brien is gonna not jail in Tuscaloosa. He will jail. He will work. He will be able to do what he's got to do to make sure the offense pops. But let's just say, for example here, that it may take the offense a little bit longer to get its sea legs under him. It may take the offense a little bit longer to really find the right pieces to work together and put them together and have that well-oiled machine come together. It may take a week or two. It may take a couple of games into the season to get that fine-tuned and get that set in stone. And while it may take a couple of games, there you would have the defense that could really win you some football games, keep you in strong situations, not give up a lot of points, not give up a lot of yards, and keep you anchored as the offense is making its way in. So To'oTo'o makes a lot of sense here if you are the Crimson Tide, if you're Coach Saban. Now, once again, there's no new news about him at this point. Going back to in April, the NCAA is going to be voting on the one-time transfer rule. Should the one-time rule be favorably done and it gets passed, then you look at Saban has to now go to the SEC, working with Commissioner Sankey and trying to make sure we can get To'oTo'o cleared to play immediately, because that's the main thing. He doesn't want to transfer and then having to sit out a year. He wants to transfer, be immediately eligible to play, and be able to have that 1 year to play and then pursue the NFL draft after that. So as we continue to get more news on the To'oTo'o situation, we will pass it along to you guys. But right now, Kaho in the transfer portal. He made it known today via his social media on Twitter. We would have loved to have seen him materialize and grow into being a big-time inside linebacker for the Tide, but wish him the best as he is in the portal. Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.